First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Good afternoon, folks.
Hey.
Welcome in. I just want to say it has been so lonely in here the last two days, meaning Monday on Labor Day and last Friday. Just solo riding it in here.
Yep.
Riding solo, as Jason Derulo once
Riding
said.
solo.
Yeah,
Riding solo. That's a good
my
song.
trusted steed.
Here we are.
Back in the saddle, baby.
Let's
Chief
go.
Meteorologist Lewis Turner back in for the 4 p.m.
You got to
stream.
guide me, though.
Love it.
I'm a loose pony, loose cannon.
Well,
you got to guide me, Ross, and I know you will.
I got the reins.
Hey, let's not bury the lead here. It's a Victory Tuesday. The boys got some wins.
We did, both of us.
But yeah, and Gamecocks, Nittany Lions.
Yeah.
On the W side, the Gators doing Gator things. Miami,
Seminoles.
as we cover Florida State. I'm telling you, hey, the state of Florida is back, baby, and college football is great.
And Texas is not. They are
Texas
not back.
Is not.
We'll talk about it.
Poor Arch. Anyhow, we're a weather team. We're not a sports team. You don't come here for. We're going to talk sports, but we're going to get to some forecasting as well, and a beautiful satellite picture of what's kind of set up just off that east coast of Florida. A little coastal low that has been driving our weather here for the last few days.
It has, yeah. You can almost see kind of where that swirl is north of the Bahamas, almost due east of the Space Coast and Vero Beach, even down in the southern half of Florida. But yeah, Lou, you're right. I mean, this really set up shop Saturday into Sunday. Sunday was kind of a nasty day for some folks. I know northern half of Duval County, we were locked into the clouds. It was breezy. We had bouts of showers, just kind of persistently training on shore. Yesterday was a similar story, perhaps not nearly as much rainfall. Right, St. Johns County down by your neck of the woods, especially coastal areas from Ponte Vedra down to St. Augustine. So there's very narrow bands of showers moving on shore. So not everyone is happening to see rain, especially if you live further inland. Most of these are kind of starting to fizzle out by the time they hit the St. Johns River. But if you live right along the intercoastal or out towards the beaches, not really the nicest couple of days here.
Yeah, that Sunday setup was the amount of rain that fell in northeast Duval. And part of Nassau County, I mean, it just didn't stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it was steady all day, and then it was amazing, and I tweeted a picture of the radar, but that I guess it was Sunday night. I'm losing track of my days because I was off for so long, Ross. But yeah, one of those thin bands lined up, and it was it couldn't have squared up my house in northwestern St. John's.
Oh yes, I saw that radar loop you had posted.
More than. And it was amazing, we were just getting poured on and flooded in the yard. But anybody else would have been, what are you talking about?
Almost like in lake effect.
Yeah.
You get those super narrow bands set up that you live a mile east, you're like it's not snowing. Whereas if you are in the band, you're getting 8 inches of snow.
Yeah.
In this case, you're getting the torrential rain.
Very, very cool setup. And I'd say, as we look sort of St. Augustine, Butler Beach towards Crescent Beach with some showers moving towards the intracoastal now, right over the intracoastal, in fact, at Butler. But they won't last long. Once they get a little bit further west towards 95, it just kind of fizzles out, loses the juice, so to speak.
And thankfully, no lightning in really any of these, at least today.
Yep. So, little lower based storms or showers, really. But the secondary story, but for many, maybe the primary story is what you're showing us now. Man, it's been pleasant. I mean, this morning we woke up beautifully. Temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. Even at the beaches, we had a good solid 4-degree temperature drop at Jack's Beach this morning in an hour. So it lined up perfectly with the winds dynamic. So we had this steady northeast breeze at 20, and then it suddenly, over the hour report, it dropped to 10, and then those temperatures went right down with it. So kind of pleasant. And then I will say, Waycross, the last I checked when I was leaving Good Morning Jacksonville this morning, the last temperature check I did, it was 64.
Well, yeah, at 11 o'clock last night, they were at 66.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wow. It's a taste of fall.
Pleasant.
A pinch of PSL. Or just PS. Pumpkin spice.
Just a little.
Yeah,
a little
PSL
potential
would
work.
be the latte.
The latte.
Sorry.
If you want to,
Sorry for the latte fans.
dairy it up a little bit. But and those Wednesday now they've freshened up at the beach. What an impact! We look at these wind gusts, and I mean, we've seen 35. A reported 35 at Mayport yesterday.
Yep.
And we think about Aaron. We go back to that hurricane, massive hurricane. It was Category 5 at one point, but stayed so far offshore to where, we didn't get these kind of, really.
We didn't get this wind.
We didn't see anything like that. And the coastal impacts. I mean, really, we kind of watched and waited and said, well, we're going to have the big rip currents, we're going to have big waves. But, our coastal impacts now, just as bad, if not worse, really, with this little coastal low that's not really anything, as far as tropically driven, and at least not being monitored by the NHC. But nonetheless, we've got those coastal flood advisories.
Yeah, we do. They run from now until 5 a.m. Thursday morning. So if you live either up or down the Intercoastal or the St. Johns River Basin even, especially during times of high tide, right? We're going to be watching for an increase of about 1 to 2 feet in some instances above normal high tide. What would you say, depth or heights?
Sure. Yep. So your mean high tide, we're going to go about 1.5 feet, 2 feet above that. And what you see in here, kind of in parts of the St. Johns River, what they would call, at action stage, meaning, it's been higher than normal. They've had a lot of rainfall over the entirety of the watershed from Central Florida up, obviously, here to Northeast Florida. The persistent northeast winds that we've had, it kind of debilitating. It's flushing out, during the low tide. So I will say, if you look at the tides for tonight, your next high tide cycle really going to be later in the evening. So, if you were concerned about, well, am I going to have to drive through floodwater? Most of this is going to happen while you're sleeping. And when I say drive through floodwater, nuisance flooding. So, the boat ramps. If you're fortunate enough to have, you got the dock on the Intracoastal, or you got a spot close to the St. Johns River, Palatka, Willatka. I mean, your high water tonight after midnight certainly could come up, that lower level in the yard. You know what I mean? When you get the spring tide or the king tide, and you've gone through that several times over the course of a couple of years, and you're kind of used to that. Think about that like this, and maybe a little more enhanced from that. But we're not talking about catastrophic flooding or really property damaging. But those streets that might be along the river and along the Black Creek, you might get a little bit of water coming up on those. So a little bit of puddling, ponding happening there. And those are going to be some later tides. And, of course, earlier in the morning, we'll watch as well for one more tide cycle as we get to Wednesday night into Thursday. Another nice evening, though, once we get kind of done with these showers and they start to fizzle out. Pretty pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't happen to live by one of the waterways, another beautiful night. Beautiful start to the morning, especially if you live inland, right? Swanee Valley, Okefenokee, you're talking temperatures yet again down into the mid to upper 60s. So a little bit of a crisp, nice, cool start to your Wednesday hump day morning out there.
Yeah, it's sliding on over the weekend. I just love seeing, my friends in Coastal Glen, so Brunswick, St. Simons, Jekyll, when you're getting lows that aren't pushing 80 and you're not that swamp, humid start to the morning, that's pretty nice. We had that St. Simons and Brunswick. I mean, Brunswick was in the upper 60s this morning. St. Simons hit 70 last I checked, so that's pretty good low temperatures out on the island there. And then, of course, Waycross had a beautiful low.
I think Jacksonville hit 70 this morning.
Yeah, 70. I don't know if we actually got to 69 or not, but
Okay.
we were right around 70 throughout the gist of Good Morning Jacksonville. And now, we've enjoyed a couple of days, even though we've got another kind of breezy day, a few coastal showers on the way for a Wednesday. We have enjoyed a couple of days with temperatures below seasonable. But that also will change. So let's not get faked out thinking, all right, we flipped the calendar into September. We're going to say goodbye to the 90s. There is a tradition around here as we kind of watch that coastal low move out and away, and your Wednesday rain chances very similar to what we've seen. There is a tradition around here for those Jags football games. I know you're going to get to that in a minute, but
Yeah. No, go ahead.
but with being full sun, we've had, it would be so nice if we had these conditions for the Jags home opener.
You're not going to luck out there.
But it's not going to happen. And it's just foreshadowing. we will not have this type of condition for Sunday with the Panthers. All right, Ross, Wednesday outlook.
Yeah. So coastal showers, right? You touched on that a little bit. And then just watching, the models are trying to show like a sea breeze kind of kicking in there by the middle part of the afternoon. Perhaps a few isolated showers along that, but we're really not expecting a lot. I'm thinking 25, 30% coverage of rain chances tomorrow. So we're still watching for rain. There is the possibility of it, but really not going to be a huge story, or really shouldn't be for most folks out there. As overall, we're still going to have a pretty pleasant day, mid to upper 80s. It's breezy. Then we start to take a little bit of a change. I think tomorrow's kind of the last day of the current pattern we have set up, Lou. And then by Thursday, by Friday, and into the weekend, not only are we starting to heat up, but rain chances beginning to come down a little bit. That coastal low beginning to kind of dissipate or break apart, not going to be nearly as potent or evident here. So sunnier skies, more dry time out there, and that, again, that warming trend. 90 by Thursday, back to the low 90s by Friday. Real field temperatures getting close to that triple-digit mark here yet again, so not super excited about that. I do think Friday, maybe a few evening storms, primarily before Friday night football, something in late afternoon, early evening. We were watching for this, of course, last week as well. So most of the isolated rain or storm chances that we do have on Friday should be over by the time games kick off, either by 6:30 or 7 o'clock. So I'm expecting pretty nice weather. It's going to be a little bit warm and humid over there at Bowls. We got game of the week, the Jackets from St. Augustine.
St. Augustine Yellow Jackets.
Coming to Bowls.
Yeah, good luck.
Taking on the Bulldogs, 7 p.m. So that's our game of the week. Other games we're highlighting, I kind of took a variety of them across the board here.
We're going to Glenn County.
Yeah, Brunswick.
Let's go. Brunswick High School. Pirates getting into action. Getting in on our Friday Night Lights games here. Love to see it. Looking at Ware County coming to Bartram.
Yes.
Good Lord, let's go. The Big Uglies. Those are some big boys in Ware County. I know Bartram's got a great football team, too. That will be very interesting to see.
I thought you would like some of the Georgia.
Yeah, I want to see what my hitters from Waycross can come down to St. Johns County, see what they've got cooking. And then, Mandarin, they're so good. Reigns, well trained. So, that's a good group of games there. And you're right. So, the last couple of Fridays, first couple of weeks, had that rain just kind of flirting with kick, but we've gotten away with it. We've gotten away with it, and it looks very similar this Friday, and probably even better actually as we get closer to kick. And our game of the week last week lived up to it.
It did.
Yeah. So
last minute field goal, right?
University Christian and Bishop Kenny, and let me tell you that. So you had a situation where University Christian scored a touchdown late, just a few seconds left, kick the extra point and tie it, or go for two and win it.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. So they line up to go for two. False start.
Oh.
Back them up. So coach says, let's kick the extra point. Missed it.
Oh, no.
Brutal. Just absolutely brutal. And
okay, I knew it came down to a kick at the end of the game. I didn't know how it ended.
It kind of, that was a tight game. A good, kind of had, everybody on the edge of their seats there. So good game. That game of the week lived up to it. We've had some great games of the week. I know Mandarin Creekside, that opening one was a little lopsided, but a great kind of start to the season, and having St. Augustine go to Bowls, that'll be a lot of fun. So good Friday night football on the way. Something to look forward to. We're in football season, man.
We are. I was going to say, you want to talk a little football here in the midway point of the stream?
So Thursday we did the picks because I was out Friday. Our Friday tradition is going to be Ross and I setting up. We're going to pick some college football games that'll be on ABC that you'll be able to watch right here. I got away with it.
You walloped me.
Took a couple risks. Maybe not risks, but went out on a limb. I wanted to kind of vary it up from you. I don't think Texas was a bad pick in hindsight. It was the number one team in the nation versus your hated Ohio State.
Well, yeah,
Buckeyes.
I couldn't pick
Can't
Ohio
pick them.
State.
And then I did the same thing with LSU and Clemson.
Yeah, you couldn't pick Clemson.
The head told me Clemson. The heart told me I can't pick that. So, and that's the difference right there. It was,
and both were close games.
They were. Yeah.
The only real surprise, right, that we both lost.
Yeah.
That was your only loss of the weekend.
It was the FSU.
FSU and Bama.
Bama.
I think that came out of right field.
That'll teach you. That'll teach you. And those FSU guys are laughing all the way to the bank with that big victory. Good for them. But yeah, so we'll keep track all season. I certainly don't anticipate maintaining a 2-game lead over my college football expert Ross Muma over here. But I like to have a steady cushion. Need to start that cushion for our bet as we get towards the end of the season.
Well, since we didn't get to talk about it last week, right? I thought today might be a good time.
Oh, the
Our
Heisman
Heisman
hopefuls.
hopefuls.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we submitted these. Now we're talking about them now, but we did submit these
Last Thursday.
Before games were played.
Yes.
And maybe we might want to, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably change some things. But
Yep.
but at the same time, maybe you wouldn't. I mean, I like. Hey, you're going with Lenoris as well. Listen, that touches my heart. You're going with Jeremiah Smith as well, which is interesting picking a Buckeye,
But he's the best wide receiver in the country. Might be the best player in college football.
They kept saying that in that game too. That noon kick. That Fox crew was like, "Yeah, he's the number 1 college football player." I'm like, how do we? I mean, I get it. You got to have a storyline, but we don't know yet. But he is very good.
What will limit Jeremiah Smith does Julian Sand, their quarterback, is he able to get him the ball, right? You got to have good quarterback play to get a really good wide receiver.
Do they let him do special teams? That
I don't know.
Okay, if you see that sort of what'll kind of put a receiver over the top sometimes is if he'll break off a big game-changing punt return. I don't know, but again, this is my ignorance to Ohio State football, and I did watch that game, and I don't remember who was back there returning punts because Texas did have to punt.
Yes, there was a lot back and forth.
It was, so I don't, and I should have been paying better attention. So somebody out there is probably screaming at the stream like, nah. But
I want to poke some holes in yours.
Okay, please.
Just because.
Please.
And you can feel free to do it in mine as well.
Okay.
I'll try to defend it and give you a rebuttal.
Let's do it.
Arch Manning, overrated.
Yeah. And
I think he could be good.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to need a full year in the system with Steve Sarkisian. I know he played a couple games last year. He played against Mississippi State, worst defense in the SEC, and UTSA, I believe. I mean, that's a trash game. You're not getting a whole lot. He's also surrounded by an immense amount of talent. He's got a great offensive line. He's got ballers on the outside to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
So he's in a great.
But he couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, he couldn't get it to him. I think he's a little. I think people are expecting him to be a polished player already.
Immediately.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Last name.
Yeah, so I think he's going to struggle a bit this year. Not going to reach that level. As for Drew Aller, love the pick.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Lots of love.
That's my guy.
Love my boy Drew.
Yep.
I don't think is going to have the stats to do it simply because they have 2 of the best running backs in the country, and I don't think he's going to have to ball out every single game. Whereas some guys like John Mateer from Oklahoma, I think he's going to have to be a baller every single game for Oklahoma to stand a chance in the SEC.
And the same thing with Lenoris, right? He's going to have to ball out. He's going to have the stat line. And that stat line, if things hold, it will. Now I'm looking at Drew, and so the difference here is if Penn State, all right, so they're number 2 team in the country after this weekend. If they stay at number 2, right, and you're at your 1 or 2, your top 5 all season, it just seems like you're getting an invite to
just because your team was successful.
Yeah, because you're the quarterback of one of the top teams in the country.
I can see that.
And will he be a top 4? I don't know, but it does seem like just everything would be in the favor of if Penn State, if you go out and you win the games that you haven't before, you beat the teams and you truly run. It just seems like he would be a good one up there, and so I guess the same could be said for our guy Saying at Ohio State too. I mean, but I'm kind of leaning on just a little variety.
Let me ask you, if you could change one.
I could change one.
And who would you put in there? Who would you take out and who would you put in?
That's a good question. I don't know who I'd substitute Arch for at this point. A
lot of guys on the Garrett Nussmeier bandwagon.
Yeah,
a lot of guys.
I'm not there yet, though. He did. If it was Garrett versus Cade, I'd probably trade him out. You know what I mean?
Carson Beck?
He played great.
He did.
Miami, looking legit. So, yeah, I think so. Either one of those two. I mean, if you're just going to straight trade out, yeah, probably. Okay. So, but, I don't have any holes to really poke in yours. I think Cade's, he said it himself, played a bad game.
Yeah.
And still, it wasn't like they got blown out.
I was talking to someone here yesterday, too. It's tough. You get those big week one matchups. There's no continuity on offense yet. There's no rhythm. The chemistry's not there because you really haven't played against anyone but your defense in practice.
Right.
And, I mean, practice and game, it's just different, right? You can try to simulate it as best you can, but you can't completely replicate it.
Yeah. There's no preseason in college football, and those guys, Clemson just jumped right in it, right in the fan. And what's going to happen now is Cade will have that stat line because, I mean, the rest of the schedule isn't exactly great. I'm not sure if they play UNC or not. I think they do on that ACC side of things. I'm trying to think if maybe they have FSU. I need to memorize my Clemson stuff, I guess, but not exactly my favorite thing to do. But, I don't think they have the hardest track. So, I think he'll have that. He'll probably end up with that stat line.
We're going to post that out, though.
Yeah.
That way everyone knows we didn't change anything throughout the season.
Accountable.
Lock it in.
Let's see what happens at the end of the we'll have to put some stakes on that too, see who does better, because we got our Jersey bet going. All right, but we do start as we transition back to a time of weather, out of sports and into weather. We don't want Chris Porter kicking down the door, this wall essentially is just 2 rooms away from the sports department. So he could come in here like the Kool-Aid man and go, oh, yeah, no, football, what are y'all doing? So anyway, he put his 2 cents in. But as we slide downhill to the weekend, we got NFL to look forward to. We got football back. But, Ross highlights it there with that heat index, 102.
102.
And if you're going to be asking for those showers, it might actually be a benefit. But that 1 o'clock kick, we're going to be in direct sunlight out there at the bank. It is just the traditional September, first game of the season, first home game of the season. We're gonna bake, and it's just unfortunate the timing of this coastal low. Like I said, it would be nice if this was setting up. While certainly breezy out there, but it would have been nice to have that.
Well, I think if you sit on the west side of the stadium, right, late afternoon, sun starts to dip behind you, so you start to get into the shade, and it does look like you're going to get at least a little bit of an easterly breeze as the afternoon wears on, so that could try to cool you off a little bit, that frontal breeze by the afternoon. What do you think storm chances-wise? I put isolated storm around there by about 4 o'clock because I am thinking it's going to be fourth quarter, even after the game, ride home, maybe seeing a shower or storm around out there.
Yeah, we'll have them out there. Just the very isolated. We're going to have heat, humidity in place, so certainly you just can't rule it out. You're gonna want it at the 3 o'clock time frame as opposed to when you're walking out. Trying to get home to watch those 4 o'clock games in the afternoon. All right, talking tropics, and this is you walk in the office and the first question folks want to talk about, and I don't blame them. And so as we kind of get to that peak of the hurricane season, you're going to want to check in with us daily. All right, so just check on the tropics daily. That as long as you're getting a look at this map, and then should this become a depression here in the next 48 hours or so, 30% chance in the next 2 days. But they have Hurricane Center has taken this wave off the coast of Africa and bumped it up to a high chance over the next week. So things favorable to get a depression or maybe even a tropical storm going. Gabrielle is
the next name. I think I have that up next.
Yeah, would be coming up next. Look at that list.
Tropical storm.
5.
Tropical storm.
So we'll see what Gabrielle has in store. It's still very early in this. Some models are still wishy-washy as you look at ensembles and et cetera, but the main global models still have kind of a tendency to curve it. So we'll watch that Bermuda high. If it does that, and as modeling would suggest, and kind of shifts a little bit further out east, there is a better chance that it does the Aaron and I don't mean that in terms of strength, okay, but I do mean it in terms of direction and Fernan. So this is that model comparison I was bringing up, Ross.
Yeah, I was a little slow on that.
No. The high tells the story.
But I think it's interesting and more than likely a promising sign, right, that the European and the American GFS model both showing rather similar stories here. I mean, that's pretty close together. What, 8 days away, over a week away.
For sure.
Has it, on the eastern sides of the Leeward Islands. And then, as you mentioned, kind of taking that Aaron or Fernand track, recurving up to the northwest and eventually north. Perhaps so. Right now, I would say it's trending more a Bermuda storm than it is a U.S. storm. But a lot of time and space to still be covered between now and then for the forecast models, for the storm itself. So certainly a lot could change still.
And watch the strength. If it trends towards GFS, which gets it stronger faster than it's an earlier turn. If you watch what happens if what Euro does and verifies, if it kind of strengthens a little bit later turn, but both kind of have that. Like similar to Aaron, maybe a little bit earlier, but modeling did have that Puerto Rico turn with Aaron, almost like due north of San Juan, and then it started its trip up. So we'll watch carefully for that and have that in our minds. Of course, throughout the next 7 days, we'll have our eyes on the tropics for you, and you see that temperature trend. Seasonable would be 89. We have another day of Wednesday below seasonable temperatures, and then we kind of get hit with the that direct full sunlight for a Sunday football game.
Stay hydrated out there, especially if you're tailgating beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a very long, hot afternoon out there in the sun. Hopefully, starting the week off 1-0, baby.
Amen. That would be great. We need a Victory Monday. Go Jags. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, folks. We'll see you back here 5 p.m. on Airside of First Coast News. Meantime, you have a good night.